He's too big shot. No, it's actually I had to switch the dates, and he was planning on coming, and he had to go do something and film something.
He switched the dates like 3 times. I was like, Jeff, I have like a 2-week period. He's like, oh man, I got like this thing to do, and then like, okay, I can do this today. Like, great, we like said it. We're going to Boston. We're gonna show him the movie. He's like, oh man, I gotta get my dog washed on that day. So like, he hasn't been groomed in a while. So like,
I have a 3-year-old daughter.
Touche.
It's not all about me anymore, right? But when I first watched the film, it was overwhelming. It was like, did that just happen? Like, Aaron was crying, I was crying, and Dave was like, he was happy. He was very like he was like really nervous, and so was Jake when I watched it in Toronto the first time with Jake, and you know, Dave was nervous, and afterwards he was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I just want to go home and go to sleep. And then that's what I did. And then the next day, everything started to pop out at me. And then the next few days, everything started to come to me. And 2 weeks later, I was okay. That's how long it took to get over it. And it was just, you know, so real. Just the dynamic between Tatiana and Jake just brought me right back to my relationship. And it's always like hindsight's 20/20. Like I could have just, I look back, I'm like, oh man, I shouldn't have pushed her away. I shouldn't have done that. Man, what was I thinking? And
so for you, it was a lot about the relationship with Aaron that really struck a chord with you.
Yeah, I think in relationships with everybody. My mom. You know, my mom was so mad at me. She was like, why was my apartment so dirty? So it's like,
how has she responded to the film?
She's taking it in stride, I guess, but yeah, she's just really stressed out about her apartment being so dirty in the film. She's not a dirty person, but like it was cluttery.
Why did you do that to her?
It was cluttery. So stuff like that, and then it was funny to see everyone's reaction, and then I realized how wonderful it was, and how it shows so much, and how much I mean, if I could take so much out of it, I think anybody can, and you know, it really meant a lot to me. It hit home. It still does. Now I've seen it 4 times, and it gets better every time for me.
There's a wonderful shot in the film that I want to ask you about, where you are getting your legs are getting the bandages are getting taken off, and it's out of focus where they're taking the bandages off, and you're in the foreground. The two of you are in the foreground, and you're in an incredible amount of pain over it, and it's just I don't know how to say anything other than it's just a perfect decision in regards to performance and shot, and I want to know what was behind that decision, and did you talk about it beforehand? Did you know that David was going to frame it that way? What made you frame it that way?
We just wanted to approach it's a very dramatic scene, but we wanted to approach it very intimately, and not a lot of this movie we were very cautious not to sensationalize anything. You know, although some of it's emotionally graphic, it's not visually graphic, and I think it was important to put what's important in the foreground in sharp focus, and what's less important emotionally soft focus in the background. And so just came up with a very simple composition for this sequence where he's going through something that's very very stressful, and it's kind of a abstract framing and to some degree, where there's a moment, you know, he's very isolated in the frame, and then there's just a moment of connection with Erin as you don't even know that she's off camera, and then she kind of leans in, and we're just looking at the two of them, and they're sitting there in this moment that's a historical moment within their relationship, and within Jeff's transformation, and just to be really delicate and sensitive about it without, you know, it's a long shot. The camera doesn't move, and it's about the patience and you know, ultimately the healing within that scene.
It's perfectly composed. I think, you know, our cinematographer Sean Bobbitt is extraordinary, and there is a stillness in it that starts to reverberate as the shot goes on. And I think understanding the pain that Jeff was in, but also understanding sometimes the tremendous difficulty, the tremendous pain it takes to connect and show vulnerability in a moment where you want to hide, you want to run away, you want to get away from anybody who can see, you know, all the mess that you are. And John Polano, our screenwriter, sent us that scene that day because David and I were like searching for a scene where we could understand the pain that he went through, somewhere show it to the audience. And he sent us a scene that he wrote very early on, and the scene was basically a few lines where the nurses and the doctors came in to take off Jeff's sutures, and they asked him, "Do you want to look?" And he says, "I don't want to look." And Aaron is in the room with him, and he said, "I don't want her to look either." And there was something about something that was impossible for us as an audience not to see, as people who know what Jeff's been through, impossible not to see. But to know that in the foreground, in focus, the thing that's really important is how much these two people love each other. And it just lasts and lasts and lasts. And it doesn't go away, how much they love each other and how much they're there for each other, with everything else going on. And I mean, it is the most courageous directorial move, and it's so bold and so loving, and that's what this movie's about.
So it's unreal. It's so great to do these talks with Dave too, and to hear how I did it, and to bring me back. It brings me back, and just to hear it, it's awesome how you captured so much and how much I was feeling. And yeah, imagine being with the person you want to impress and you love, and you don't have your legs anymore, and they're gone, and you're just like bloody, and there's blood, and yeah, I would try to shield Aaron from everything. And
it's so interesting that you say to try to impress, because it's someone that you were still sort of in the early stages of a relationship. I mean, off and on relationship we see, but barely at early stages where you want to impress her, and she's like taking care of you at your worst. Wow.
It's really, it's tough.